The financial services industry doesn't really need more innovative products. It needs more innovative advice and education. I started in the financial services industry in 1999 as a typical financial advisor, but I very quickly realized that there was two major problems with the financial services industry. The first problem is the fact that the whole process in financial services at this point is basically a selling process. It's basically people running around trying to sell you a risk policy, an investment policy or something like that, with very little focus on education, on making sure that it is built according to people's goals, taking them by the hand and creating strategies. Now, I'm a natural educator, so when I started in the industry, I started doing things from an educational perspective. So I took clients, I explained to them how these things work, why they work, where they fit in, and suddenly I started doing better than everybody around me because people bought into that. And I very quickly then realized that the financial services industry doesn't really need more innovative products. It needs more innovative advice and education. People need to be educated about these things, and that's where the importance lies. The second problem was the bigger one of the two, and that's the retirement crisis. I think all of us have heard that we are sitting in a retirement crisis. Some of the statistics show that 96% of people who retire in South Africa cannot maintain their same standard of living within 5 years from retirement. Only 55% of people with less than 10 years left to retirement is actually saving anything for retirement. So we're sitting in a crisis of a generation of people that's going to get to retirement age and not being able to retire. And the problem wasn't so much that people didn't know about the crisis. It's about the fact that nobody was doing anything different. They kept saying the same thing or doing the same thing and expecting a different result. So in 2001, I started doing some research, and I said, but if savings alone is not going to get us there, what is? How do we actually solve this problem? And by the end of 2001, I had a very rough strategy on how we solve it. And by the beginning of 2002, I left the company I was with, and I started this company with the exclusive goal of getting people to create alternative strategies to get to retirement. So the focus, if you look at retirement, the focus of retirement is to build passive income streams, because that's actually what retirement is. We are taught that what you do and what you earn are all interlinked with one another. If you work, you get paid. If you don't work, you don't get paid. So these two are interlinked. You save for 40 years, and then one day this happens. It goes boop, the two disconnects, and now you don't have to work, but you still earn an income. The problem is all of that is focused on one kind of asset, and that is capital assets. It's all about saving. And the biggest problem with that is that you cannot save enough money in your lifetime to generate enough passive income by the time you retire. So one of the things I learned when I started doing this research is that we can't just focus on one type of asset if we want to build for retirement. We have to focus on three types of assets. The first one is capital assets. So we're not teaching people or saying to people don't save. We're saying to people understand the limitations of saving. Save what you can, but understand that that's only part of the solution. It's not the whole solution. The second kind of assets that you need to build is what we call business assets. A business asset is a type of business or a type of a strategy where you put some input in initially, but then start building passive income streams through leverage over time. And then the third kind of asset is income generating assets. Any asset that generates a monthly income as a result of the asset, not as a result of what you do in the asset. The most well known of that is property. And by no means do we tell people that property is the only asset to invest in. But property, if you have a house and you rent that house out, you don't have to get there at 8 o'clock in the morning, work at the house until 5 to get your rental income. The rental income is generated as a result of the property, as a result of the asset. to not what you do in the asset. And that's what we call an income generating asset. So through that whole strategy, we created a 5-step process that we teach people to get to retirement. And this is the 5 steps. The first step is called minimize your risk. That is to make sure that if anything happens to you, any unforeseen event happens, your life and your dependents' lives can maintain the same standard of living that they were used to. Be very careful, not better, but the same standard of living. The second step is then to invest in yourself. Because everybody wants to become an investor, but nobody wants to do the groundwork to get ready to become an investor. So you need to invest in yourself first. And there's a couple of things that you need to invest in. The first thing is you need to invest in your own financial education. The second thing is you need to invest in unsecured debt. Make sure that you get rid of all your unsecured debt, and then you create a personalized investment strategy. Once you've done that, you go to step 3, which is called become an entrepreneur, and that is where you start building business assets, specifically business assets that generate passive income as a result of leverage. You take that income and you put that into what we call your free bucks account, which creates a capital asset, and then we take you to step 4, which is called invest in income generating assets. You take that capital asset, you put it into an income generating asset, which then creates more income. And then we start building what we call a generational wealth spiral, where income generates an asset, the asset generates more income, which creates more of an asset, which gets put into an income generating asset again. And then step 5 is all about retiring happy. Step 1 to step 4 is about retiring rich, whatever rich means to you. Whether rich means having a Porsche, whether rich just means having the time available to spend with your family and give your kids whatever they need. Whatever rich means to you, step 1 to step 4 is built to get you there. Step 5 is all about retiring happy. And that is, we call it paying it forward, making a difference to somebody else's life, teaching other people to follow the same strategies. Because we believe that true happiness, true contentment comes on making a difference in somebody else's life. So throughout our whole process, we motivate people and we challenge people to share these ideas and principles with other people and help them as well.